This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 390 of the Dressage Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network, brought to you by Total Saddle Fit, Kentucky Performance Products, Uncle Jimmy's Brand Products, and Horseware. Today we've got three competitors from the USDF National Finals, Akiko Yamazaki, Chase Hickok, and Erika-West Danque.
This is Reese Koffler-Stanfield from Georgetown, Kentucky.
And this is Philip Parks from Rockwood, Ontario, and you're listening to the Dressage Radio Show, joined by our producer, Glenn the Geek.
Hey, guys.
Yay! Hi, guys. How are you?
1 week till the big 12-hour marathon coming up.
We are the lunchtime attraction. I'm so excited.
We're the
about
lunch
that.
break.
I
so
get to take a break then. Just let
Yeah.
you guys go. I can go get some food. Yeah, you guys are on. Of course, we're talking about the second annual 12-hour holiday radiothon on November 28th, Cyber Monday. We're going to be starting at 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We're giving away $4,000 in prizes. People can call in that day, anytime that day, and tell us about their fantasy ride. Who is the horse in history or current that they would most like to ride? If they had a fantasy ride, who would it be? And they'll be entered into the drawing that day. So we're going to give away prizes all day long. And then the grand prize at the end of the day is worth over $1,500. It's a whole bunch of stuff, like 20 items. But you guys have some terrific guests planned for your hour.
We have, can we say that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we can tell you who we have because we have confirmed today from both of our guests. We are so excited to have best-selling New York Times author Tammy Hogue.
Woohoo.
She is fantastic. She is a Grand Prix rider in her own right, and she is fantastic. And drum roll, please. We have Laura Graves, bronze medalist from the Rio Olympic Games on. And so we are really looking forward to having them on and talking about what they do for the holidays. And
listeners can call in and talk to you guys.
Yeah, we were just talking about this. We're gonna take live phone calls from listeners. I think this is going to be my favorite part because
I know.
I don't do the live shows. You know, I've called in a couple of times.
Let's just tell him a secret. Phil's actually scared of live shows. So this is a big thing for Phil to come on and do the live show.
I just sometimes, my off the cuff comments might not be always appropriate or have the proper radio language involved. I mean, if you heard all the edits that had to come out of some of the shows, you would understand why.
I think the auditors hear some of them.
Yeah, the auditors have heard many of your edits.
We're pretty big.
Or if you know me and yeah, just not always.
It's kind of a wild day though. It's because it is all holiday. It's a party. It's a Christmas party, and we're talking to the guests about about Christmassy stuff. So, it's fun, and I think Philip, you're going to have a great time with it. We've gotten over 100 voicemails of people singing songs, and you guys are in a lot of those, singing songs and poems and things. We're going to play those all day long. And on your hour, we're giving away your listener's choice of a Total Saddle Fit English or Western shoulder relief girth. They get their pick. And then also, KPP is giving away a dressage performance pack worth over $175. So
best too.
There's great really prizes all day long. I think it's amazing how you put this together, Glenn.
Good job, Glenn.
Yeah,
we're excited to be a part of it.
We just went over $4,000 in prizes, and we keep adding more. We keep getting contacted with companies that want to donate. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, and that's how the only way you can enter at this point is to call in that day. We'll put you on the list, and then you're on the list all day, and we're just going to draw numbers at the end of every hour. So
fantastic.
Yep.
Awesome.
So tune in.
We're going to have lunch with us on Cyber Monday. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yes. Are you cooking?
Cool.
Are you making lunch?
I will probably have, no kidding, lean cuisine that's in my freezer.
mine will be in a glass with a couple of rocks.
Yeah,
so.
I'm going to say, Phil's going to have
it's
a
5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock. I cannot. I have got to then go to my other job job at the University of Kentucky, so I cannot partake in the lunchtime.
They don't want your
Beverage.
professors drunk at University of Kentucky?
I don't. I think they maybe would frown on that. I'm just maybe off the cuff.
I think that's the only way you can do any of that teaching, I think.
No, I enjoy my class, and no, it's good. So it'll be super fun. We're
Awesome.
looking forward to the day and to talk a little bit about what we do on Christmas and all those type of things.
And
so
we want to hear about your fantasy rides. You and
I'm ready.
Phillip?
I've got mine.
Okay.
I've got my fantasy ride, and I think I'm going to shock you guys.
And we have, let me just mention too, we have some fantastic guests all day long. We're starting the day with George Morris. I mean, and he's going to talk about, he's talking about his fantasy ride. But the first guest of the day, our opening guest, is very special. It's Christian Bush of the group Sugarland. He's one of the pair.
I saw you guys were promoting. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, he actually turns out to be a very close old friend of Jamie's, who hosts the morning show. And they go back a long way, and they used to celebrate Christmas together when they lived in Atlanta before he was a big name.
Cool.
And they talk about that. We already did that interview, and Christian loves Christmas. So Sugarland has 6 million followers on Facebook and has sold 30 million albums. So this is, it's kind of neat that he hangs out with us at the beginning of Radiothon.
I want to break the internet again. Last year, you guys broke the internet.
Yes.
So
you got to make sure that you're not going to go down during the radio.
Yeah, maybe not during our hour.
We were going to ask Christian if he would announce it on his Facebook page, all 6 million followers. And then we decided that'd be a bad idea. Well, we're going to have him promote the recorded version the next day, because if 1% of them hit it, it would be 100,000 people hitting our live feed at once. So we don't need to go down for the whole day.
No, but we're really looking forward to today. It's going to be a super fun day, and just kind of kick off the holidays for us.
We have others too. We have other dressage people during the day that you might. Allison Brock is going to be on twice during the day, actually. Also on that same team you just talked about, she's going to be on. And then there's another, Linda Tellington Jones. Everybody knows Linda. Linda's name. And then let's see here.
Debbie McDonald?
Debbie McDonald is going to talk about her fantasy ride. That is correct. So she's going to be on during that day, too, telling you about her fantasy ride. And I happen to know what that is, and it's very special. It'll make you cry.
Cool. Oh, that's so cool. That's very cool.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun
HolidayRadiothon.com. HolidayRadiothon.com has all the information.
But, I mean, we've got a good show to put on today, right?
Yeah, we really do. We have a great show. I think everyone's going to enjoy. I kind of went around the national finals and asked all our friends to
collecting
come on.
guests for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
From the winner's circles, right?
From the winner's circles. We tried for sure. So it was, we had quite a week here, actually. I think everybody had a great time, and the weather was it was cold, but it wasn't snowing or raining sideways. It was beautiful weather here. It was cold. When I was going to the barn at 5 a.m. on Saturday morning, it was 23 degrees. I was like, oh, this is too much. But it was really nice here, actually.
Well, it sounds like you had a good week with your horse, and and everybody I've seen all over Facebook had a great show, and people are really, really talking up this national finals. This the third or fourth year, and it's starting to really pick up a lot of momentum. People are enjoying the Kentucky hospitality, which we know about.
You have partaken in many times. No way. It's really fun.
Yeah, now it's getting, a lot of traction across the country and getting more riders, and everybody's really having a great time. So that's awesome.
Well, Reese, would you brag a little bit, please?
I will. I'll tell you. So I'll tell you a little bit about our week. So, hello. I don't know if I talked about it before, but briefly, the way the schedule worked out was really hard for me, and I don't know if it affected anyone else, but the pre-St. George Open Finals and the fourth level Open Finals were both on Sunday afternoon. And normally that doesn't happen, and it was an oversight by the show committee, and I personally let them know about it early on, and they said, well, we're sorry, we really can't help you. We won't do that again next year, but didn't really help me this year. So we moved in on Friday, which was good. I kind of got him over the horse show, and one of the challenges I face here in Kentucky is my barn is 10 minutes from the horse park. So I sort of play double duty, and I'm also, a wife, and I, laundry and just the normal life of being a human. It's easier sometimes when you leave and go to a horse show. So for me, from a competitive standpoint, I really have had to learn how to do that and just say, you know what, I love all my students and I love all my horses, but assume that I am gone. I'm here, but I'm gone. So that's something I've had to learn while showing at the horse park, especially in a final situation. So I took Hello on Friday. I worked a little bit here at the farm, and then midday I took him over, and I rode him here on Friday. Just kind of made life a little easier because of the schooling schedule. So whenever you're at a national finals, you typically get a schooling schedule. So they tell you when you can ride, and the schooling time in the indoor arena was from 6 to 7:30 a.m. So I didn't want to take him. I didn't want to try to, I mean, I had to take him over at 4 a.m. or something crazy on Saturday. So we moved in Friday, settled in, walked around, checked the place out. He had been last year. So that was sort of our strategy. My sister, Lindsay Cassidy, is my coach. So we really strategized that. We got up super early. Lindsay was amazing, came, Chase Hickok, who is on the show later, and I were the first ones in the arena. We were in there about, I think we got in there at 5 to 6. So we got on, getting started. Because again, you can't, at a national finals, you can't ride without stewards. That's common also at a CDI. Like, you have to ride when they tell you to ride, sort of part of it. So we got up early, got in the arena. We were able to sort of get in the All-Tech when it was pretty quiet. And by the time we were finishing schooling about 6:45, it was starting to get pretty busy. So I was happy I got up early. Then we put him up. I actually took him out a couple of times on Saturday. Again, couldn't get back in the arena because it was closed till like midnight. You couldn't get back in until the next morning. So I did a little lunge on Saturday afternoon just to get him out, let him stretch his legs, went on a nice walk. Hello happens to be kind of a pain to hand walk, so I more prefer to lunge him. He's kind of a jerk to hand walk. So Lindsay and I always like, no, you do it. No, you do it. No, you do it. So we didn't do that. So we lunged him a little bit on Saturday afternoon, and then got up early again Sunday morning, got him in the arena again. So I had to make some interesting calls from a riding standpoint because I had two of my tests. I had went at 1:15 and 4:15. Again, that it's not, he's 7, and we can only get through one test a day. And we trained a little bit for it. I didn't go crazy because I thought it's one day in his life. But again, you have to make sort of that call as you're preparing for and this probably will never happen again. So I hand walked him early for about an hour. My legs were tired, but that was good. So I hand walked him, and then I put him up, hand walked him a couple times during the day, got on him for the Pre-St. George. It was a little bit tight in the warm-up. Normally I wouldn't have waited till 1 o'clock to get on him, but it was my plan. So he was a little bit tight in the Pre-St. George. Had some mistakes. It wouldn't be normal mistakes for him, but some mistakes in the changes. Still ended up with a pretty good score, almost a 65%. So I was okay with that, but I got in. So I left the arena, and 2 riders after me, and Erika-West Danque is coming on. Literally the lights went out in the All-Tech arena. There were no lights. It was dark. So they kicked on the emergency power. So I thought, oh, okay, we're going to have to go in there. And guys, I'm not kidding you. There was one little spotlight in the warm-up ring. It was essentially dark in the warm-up. So I thought, well, we're here for experience. We're going to see what happens. And I will tell you, Hello went in there for his second test and was fantastic. Like, I was really nervous. I thought, I don't know how this is going to be. And then there were 2 rather large sunspots in the middle of the arena. So the All-Tech it wasn't black, like you could see, but it wasn't light. So, but they said, we're going to run the class. Everybody is going to have to go in these conditions, and we're running it. It's the last class of the day. So I got ready. We did our warm-up plan. We had a very specific time we were going to get on. We got on. I had been on him, 2 hours before, 3 hours before. Warmed him up, and he was actually really with me. I kind of really shortened my reins and kind of gave him a few kicks and said, okay, now I'm really serious. You have got to stay with me for the next 20 minutes. And I'll tell you what, that young guy, he did his job for the second test. And that was really the one I felt pretty confident going in. He qualified. He got some really big scores at the freestyle, 4th level freestyle. He did it last year and was 3rd in the 3rd level nationally. So I really had a fantastic test. I really was proud of him. Because it was a freestyle, I sort of, in my mind, as I was going around the arena, I was looking to see how I could sort of avoid the sunspots, because Hello can be a little funny about light and sunspots, and at home that happens. And I sometimes ride him at different times because my arena has big windows, and so the sunspots move around. So I trained in that a little bit, and I went around the arena, and he was really spooking at one. So I just went back around. I knew I was a little close to my 45 seconds, but I was like, I got to show him this again. So I went back around to show him, and started my freestyle. There was one part of my trot work I really couldn't avoid the sunspot. I even in the walk work tried to look and tried to figure out like how can I avoid that sunspot, and I couldn't figure it out. So he did have to cross it once, and he was great. Like he looked a little, and I kind of put my leg on. I said, "Come on," and he was great. So ended up just under 73% reserve overall, just edged out of the championship. But I was really proud. It was a really big day for him, and I couldn't at the end of the day have been more proud of him. So it was cool. So that was my story.
Congratulations. That's good. It's a great experience,
Exactly.
on the way upwards towards the CDI ring. And, it takes a lot of times down the center line, a lot of different stuff happening. And
exactly.
And, you did a wonderful job. Yeah.
Thanks. Well, Phil has also gets a big cheers on this because Phil's been he's part of my team, and of course I called Phil right away. And I'm like, you wouldn't believe what happened, but it takes a team really to get these horses down the center line, and I have such a great team. Cheers to Kiki Cortellis, my owner. She's my partner with Hello, Lindsay, Philip, Dr. Anna, my husband Travis. Like it really, when people thank their team, really it doesn't happen without your team, and it was cool to go to a national championship, and I look forward to showing this horse, and we all the committee has to get together. We call it the committee. Philip, Lindsay, Kiki, like we all have to get together and decide sort of what the next step is with Hello. But he also, I promised him a week off, and so he gets this week off.
So he's getting his week off.
He's getting his week off. Not that he really worked that hard. He was like one really intense afternoon, but I promised him a week off. So he's been very quiet in the field. He's going out. Hello. I'm a big fan of turnout. And today I did groom him for like 5 minutes. I was like, okay, you have to get groomed for a little bit, but he is enjoying his time off. No, I was like, come on, you gotta, you got mud everywhere. So he's having a little break, and then we'll kind of regroup and rally, kind of like you'll hear Chase talk about with her horse, Sagacious. It's been kind of a long end of the season for him, and so he'll have a little break, and we're gear back up for Florida. So looking forward to it.
All right, so onward and upward, as we say, right?
Onward and upward. Well, right after this commercial break from Kentucky Performance Products, you're going to have a wonderful interview. I hope everyone enjoys Akiko Yamazaki talking about her journey to the U.S. Finals.
They had been together for years, since he was just a colt. When he got stubborn, she would gently coax him on. When he got scared, she would reassure him and stroke him gently on the neck. She spent hours building his confidence, his strength, his balance, teaching him to dance. Pirouette, passage, piaffe, the final salute. The crowd jumped to its feet and cheered. It was the moment they had spent a lifetime training for. But all she could think about was how special he was and how she loved him. This love story is brought to you by Endure Extra, providing high-fat calories, direct-fed microbials, and natural vitamin E to support optimal condition and performance. The horse that matters to you matters to Kentucky Performance Products. Call 859-873-2974 or visit kppusa.com to order today.
Well, tonight it is my pleasure to have Akiko Yamazaki on. Akiko, welcome to the program.
Thanks very much.
Well, Akiko, you have spent a couple days with us here at Maple Crest laying over after the U.S. Finals, and it was so fun to have you. And of course, I snagged you for the radio show, but I was so interested to hear about your journey here to the U.S. Finals. So can you tell us a little bit how it started?
Yeah, it was actually my second time. I was there in 2013 as well for the inaugural U.S. Dressage Finals. Back then I took a older horse, but this time I took a 8-year-old Prix St. George horse, and we had a blast.
And he is beautiful. Can you tell us all a little bit about him?
Sure. He is a Dutch horse by Vivaldi. I have had him about a year and a half. We started off in third level last year, and he's one of those horses that is quite easy and very intelligent, and he skipped 2 levels, and he's doing Pre-St. George this year. And early this year, when we started the Pre-St. George, I thought, oh, it might be pretty fun to take him to the finals, because he's one of those horses that the environment doesn't seem to affect him too much. And I felt like if we could get the qualifying scores, that it would be a really good experience for both of us. So I'm glad that the plans worked out, and there we went.
And you had a great time here and did very well. Tell us a little bit about what happened here.
Well, thank you. We did our first warm-up class on Saturday, which was the day before our finals. We arrived from California on Tuesday, so he had a few days to settle in, which was great because the weather was quite different from California to Kentucky, much, much colder. So he had a few days to settle in and just kind of take in the whole environment, and had chances to score in the arenas and so on. And our first warm-up class went really, really well. He just, put in a nice, clean test. And we were able to win that class. And then on the actual finals day, I couldn't have been happier too with his performance, because he also did a clean test. He may have been just a little bit more tense, but that may have come from me. And, we ended up top 3, and it was a very, very tight top 3. I think that between the first place and my third place, there was only about 0.6% difference. So, we really couldn't have asked for more. And it was just so much fun to see, all the top riders from the other regions. And I think my favorite moment really was to all of us there, the top 10, to be in the warm-up arena of the Altec, lined up to go get our awards and or do our award ceremony. And we just kind of exchanged quick hellos and said where we were from, and people from North Carolina, South Carolina. There was a local girl from Kentucky who won it, which is great. 2 of us from Region 7, actually Elma Garcia, who is a good friend of mine, was second, and then I was third. So we got to do honor rounds together, and that was a lot of fun.
That is so cool. So, Akiko, you're a mom of 2 children, right?
Yes, I am. I have 2 girls. They're 12 and 8.
How are you a mom and ride at this level? I mean, how do you do that?
Actually, I think I can be a better mom because I ride, in a way. It provides me my mom, my mommy time and time to focus. I mean, they're a little bit older now. They go to school, and so it's become a lot easier. They're pretty self-sufficient. They came to root for me. They're horse girls themselves. They're pretty serious vaulters. My older daughter, actually, Miki, represented the USA in the WEG already in Normandy. She was the flyer for her Team USA, and Stefan and Miki actually got to walk in the opening ceremony together. I really never thought that I would see that kind of a day in my life, where my child and my sponsor rider kind of walked in the opening ceremony together. So that was super special. She's actually already competed in the Altec Arena before I did, and was a trot national champion. So she's been ahead of me. She's competed in Aachen as well.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
She's only 12. Yes.
Whoa. That's
fantastic.
Amazing, and that it provides them with such opportunities at such an early age, and the club that they belong to has always been very internationally minded. So they've been able to do a lot. And my little one just started a canter. She's 8-year-old and is able to mount these gigantic vaulting horses on her own. And, I'm in the sidelines sweating bullets in my hands.
I would be seeing them fly up there. Oh my God. I don't know. I could handle it. I just, wow, that's pretty cool though.
I chose vaulting because when they were very little, they wanted to ride, and I swore to myself that I wasn't going to buy any minis. So we looked around and, found vaulting, and I said, okay, this looks pretty safe. Somebody else is in control of the horses. And little did I know that 3 years later, they'll be 14 feet up in the air. They really enjoy it. Yeah.
Wow.
They really enjoy it. It's a great team sport, and very disciplined. And, it's taken us to places that I never thought we would. So it's great.
That's cool.
Fantastic. Now, I think I read somewhere that your mom got you riding early on. as well. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
true?
right.
Like, is that how you
Yeah.
started riding, and how did you get involved
Yes,
in
in fact,
dressage?
yeah. So my mom was a rider, as you pointed out, in Japan. She started when she was in high school, and then we actually moved to Costa Rica in Central America when right before I was born. And my mom continued riding, and so we kind of grew up with the horses ourselves. And to be honest, when I was a child, I wasn't doing dressage. I was mainly a jumper. Did a little bit of eventing as well. And dressage was something that, I mean, in Costa Rica, there's not much dressage. So we didn't really do a lot of dressage. And then I came to the United States for college and then worked a little. I lived in Japan, and then I came back. And I picked it up again. And at that point, I was married, and my husband said, well, I don't think if you're going to ride horses, you should be jumping. So that's when I took on dressage.
That's cool.
So Akiko, I'm just curious, do you know what the dressage scene is like in Japan, or just riding in general? Is it similar, sort of, people owning horses and things like America, or is there a different way of doing it?
It's as you can imagine, not very easy to do dressage in Japan or anywhere in Asia, really. I mean, they have the Asia Games and so on, but I was in Rio and this year, and I have to say that the Japanese team, did a very respectable job. I think they're really trying to get ready for Tokyo in 2020. I think probably given the military tradition, jumping, was a little bit more popular. But the equestrian population is really not that big in Japan. And so it's within the challenging situation. They've done a really good job. I think most of the riders in the dressage team that is aiming for the Olympics in Tokyo seem to have bought, horses in Europe and also have trainers in Europe.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, Akiko, you've been sponsoring horses for the United States now with Stefan Peters for many, many years, the famous Ravel and Legolas. So can you tell us a little bit about, and you may have owned others, but those are the big ones. What's it like to own and sponsor a rider and go around the world to the Olympics and the World Equestrian Games?
Well, it's, as you can imagine, it's extremely exciting to be in these amazing venues. And especially with a, disciplined rider like Stefan, who always does his best. I mean, you go there and you always feel proud about the results no matter what. The reason why I started sponsoring Stefan is actually a little bit accidental, but also in a way, my husband actually deserves a lot of the credit, believe it or not, because many years ago now, let me think, the horse that I bought through Stefan was 7 and he's 24 now. So, 17 years ago, I bought this little nice horse from Stefan. Who actually, went on and we did quite well in the small tour. And so this was, my introduction to Stefan. I bought a horse through him. And I remember showing up on a Sunday. I knew that he had been in a clinic the day before. He had just flown back. But, I showed up in the barn and there he was. Horse was braided beautifully. His boots were shining and he was the most cordial person that one can imagine. And I thought, wow, this is, pretty impressive person. And, and then the rest is kind of history. I left that little horse down there so that I could have an excuse to train with Stefan. So
that's a good idea.
I flew down.
That's so cool.
Yes, I flew. He was my little, excuse to fly down and take lessons from Stefan. So I did that for a little while. And then, and every time I showed up, I was just very, very impressed with the quality of his riding and the training and all that and how he ran his whole barn. And so I just kind of got introduced to Stefan that way. And then, a few years forward, 2006, before the Beijing Olympics, I remember, Stefan came up to my barn for a clinic, and it was my husband who said, it would be so fun if Stefan could represent us for the Beijing Olympics.
Wow.
And I was like, really? Seriously? Sure. Let's tell him that.
Go take that.
I remember precisely the moment when, he had just finished giving us a lesson. And I said, hey, Stefan, what do you think of this idea? Wow. And I remember, he was very, very excited. I mean, we had, actually, when I got pregnant with my first child, I had sent him a horse Lombardi that people may not know too much about, but yeah. So Lombardi was a horse that I had bought for myself, but then I became pregnant, and he also had a little bit of a penchant to do, sort of random movements in the test.
His own kind of freestyle.
Stefan, yeah, exactly. He would be like, halt and turn around 180 degrees and face the other way. And, Lavard, so those kind of things. And so Stefan took him, and he actually made him into a Grand Prix horse, competed him in Aachen. Lombardi ended up retiring as a reserve horse for 2008. Gosh. So we had started a little bit of a sponsoring kind of relationship with Stefan back then. Like I said, it was a little bit accidental in that I had sent him that horse thinking, okay, I'm pregnant, he can ride him while I'm pregnant. And then he ended up being this incredible international horse. So cool. Okay, Stefan, just keep him down there. And, so we had kind of gotten a taste of what it was like to go to Aachen and go to Gladstone and those kind of things. So that's how it kind of started. But really, the person that deserves the credit for bringing Ravel in this country is my husband.
Wow. That's
so how involved is he in the horses? What does he think about all of this riding with you and your daughters now? How does he view the whole picture?
He is a really good horse husband. He's been doing this for a long time, so he really knows the ropes.
Yeah.
I think he really can now tell a good pirouette from a bad pirouette. Yes. And he really he knows. He has been to all the top international competitions that we've been to, and he's also taken up photography. So he takes a lot of good pictures for us, and it's an extra bonus for us that, kind of have our own personal photographer.
Yes,
and
that's awesome.
Get a lot of the behind the scenes kind of photos as well. So we're very lucky.
Yeah, he sounds very supportive. That's awesome. And to have that as well.
Yeah, it was very nice. Of course, now the kids have school, so they can't just take off whenever. And
bummer.
They let me go a little bit ahead of time this time in Kentucky. So I was there since Tuesday, but they flew in on Friday and saw my 2 rides, and they had to go back to vaulting practice on Sunday. So
oh my gosh,
Jerry managed all of that, and yeah, it was great.
That is cool. Well, Akiko, it's really cool that it's a family affair, and it's so fun I did not know your daughter was in the WEG. I mean, that's something special. And your daughter and your horse and your sponsored rider and yourself. It's just so cool to meet you and to talk with you and hear about your journey and your family. And we'd love to stay in touch for sure.
Yes, thanks so much.
Thanks, Akiko. We appreciate your time tonight.
Okay, thanks.
This winter grooming tip is brought to you by Horsewear Blankets. Joining us are 2 of the top grooms in the country, Eventer Philip Dutton's groom Emma Ford and Kat Hill from World Class Grooming. Well, our Horsewear winter grooming tip of the week, we have Emma with us who's going to talk a little bit about keeping your blankets clean throughout the winter season. First of all, Emma, you're supposed to do that? Keep your blankets clean? I thought you just let them get all gross and then washed them at the end of the year.
Well, I mean, if you like crusty blankets by January, then that's down to you. But we like to not be holding our noses every time we put a blanket on a horse come January, February. So hopefully these couple of tips will help those guys. But so obviously, depending on where you are in the country, for a lot of us, our horses are in blankets the end of September and end up staying in blankets through to the beginning of April, end of April, depending on the weather. Any overwashing of any blanket is not a good thing unless it's just a cotton sheet, because you can destroy the fill. Also, if you overwash the outside of a turnout, it actually takes away the effectiveness of the waterproof layering. So even every day, if you can, before you take the blanket off the horse, take a good stiff hard brush and knock the worst of the shavings or straw, and also obviously if they come in from outside, then you're going to knock the worst of the mud off. Should you come in with that sodden horse that's got a nice bit of mud all over its blanket, then we actually just hose it down, and don't use any detergent. We just hose it down and let it dry naturally outside. As for the underside, the actual easiest way to keep your blanket nice and fresh would be to have some sort of underwear. We like to use very breathable cotton sheets. The Amigo stable sheet that also has a neck is easy to put on, fits really well, and they're a nice product that you can have two of and just switch them in and out as you wash them. And then the other thing you can do is use an ammonia neutralizing agent, such as 1 part vinegar to 3 parts water, and you can spray this on the areas of the blanket that is particularly have newer stains, pea stains on, and this helps to get rid of that nasty pea smell.
Makes them smell like a salad, but the pea smell's gone.
Yes. Salad over pea.
So the recommendation there would be the Amigo stable sheet underneath to help keep that, which is easily washable, which is a good suggestion. Yeah, great. Well, Emma, I know you guys have a terrific website. Where can I find that?
You can find us at worldclassgrooming.com, which is also our Instagram, Gmail account. So come and find us and look for our book on any equestrian website, World Class Grooming for the Competition Horse.
This tip was brought to you by Horseware. Have you ever wanted to own your own Rambo? Well, here's your chance. From October 3rd to November 23rd, receive $50 off any Rambo turnout blanket, including the Rambo Duo, the Optimo, the Original, the Supreme, and all the others in the Rambo turnout line. All you have to do is trade in your old turnout from any brand for a horse in need. Simply visit horseware.com/trade for more information and fill out the form for the voucher you will need to get your $50 off. The complete list of retailers is at horseware.com/trade as well. Open to U.S. and Canadian residents only. Go to horseware.com/trade today and replace that blanket with all the holes for one of the best blankets on the market, the Rambo Turnout line.
Well, tonight I am so happy to have the newest U.S. National Finals Grand Prix Freestyle winner. We're calling her Superwoman, Wonder Woman, Chase Hickok. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. Last time you were on the show, you had just won the Brentina Cup with Sagacious. And so what led you to the journey of the U.S. National Finals with him?
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. We finished the U25 last year, and we're looking to set up a new goal for this coming year. And Sagacious, unfortunately, had to have a sinus surgery during last season. So we didn't get to compete at all during season 2016. So that kind of took, the hopes of going to Gladstone or, any sort of CDI qualifiers out of our path. So we, we're really excited that we were able to get in the scores to qualify to go to regionals, and ended up finishing actually as reserve champion in both the Grand Prix and the freestyle there at regionals. And so we qualified to go to nationals, and it worked out, better than we expected, certainly.
So this was your first trip with him to Kentucky. What was the trip like? It was quite a long one for you guys.
It is. We used Jimmy Welsh from Elite Horse Transport, who's just amazing. He made the trip super easy for the horses, and they made record time. They ended up getting 3 hours earlier than we were expecting, which was awesome. And Sagacious is such a good traveler. He's just put me on the trailer. He's been all over the world at this point. And then the showgrounds in Kentucky were just gorgeous, especially with it being fall and all the colors changing. We were like, I have found myself a new home. I will just stay here. You can send me all
until
my
it
stuff.
snows. Until it snows.
Until you get that nice cold weather, right?
It's nice for another couple weeks, and then game over.
Then my team. Well,
Yeah.
I was dying this week. It was like 29 degrees one night. I was like, I don't remember what this is like.
It was cold. It was very cold. It was the coldest.
It was really cold.
One morning, it was when I left at 5:30, it was 23. It was like,
That's just
oh
not
God.
okay.
No, that's not okay. It was very cold. It was beautiful weather, but it was very cold during the day. And
Well,
it had
bless
been that
them
cold
with
there.
those heated barns and that heated arena.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Yes. If you're lucky enough to be in the heated barns, there are barns that aren't heated.
So, well, it's funny. I didn't really take people seriously when they're like, "Oh, make sure you get in the heated barns." It's like, yeah, okay, crazy talk. And then, I went ahead and did the entries, and we got in there. And when we got up to Kentucky, I was like, I would have died. I would have literally just died. I don't know what I would have done.
Even Sagacious would have just
yeah. Well, Sagacious would be like, I'm getting back on the trailer. I'll see you in Florida.
I love it. So tell us about when did you get here and kind of how did you prepare for? Both were kind of late. Your rides were late. I'm not going to lie. The Sunday or Saturday ride was pretty late, so I came home and went to bed. So I didn't.
No worries. It was well past my bedtime too.
Yes, it was. It was late. What time were your times?
I rode at 10:32 on Saturday night.
Yeah. It was late.
Which I'm such an old person at heart. Like if it was up to me, I'd be in bed by 8:30 every night. And I think Sagacious kind of agrees with me. But but we got into town on Tuesday morning, and took it easy Tuesday. Just went for a couple hand walks, and then Wednesday we schooled in the stadium, and then really just kind of with Sagacious, it works best for us at competitions to do 2 rides, have a little bit of a longer warm up in the mornings, and then we really do a quick little warm up before we go in the ring, usually 10-15 minutes tops. So that worked out really well. We came bright and early, both Friday and Saturday mornings. I think we were on by 5:45 and got our school in, and then kind of hung out all day and did some other preparation. And I'm a big fan of visualization and really kind of the mental side of dressage. And then, it came out late at night, after dinner, and I took a nice afternoon nap. And he was just awesome. He was a little bit displeased when I came out there at 10 and was like, all right, time to get ready. He was like, are you out of your mind? We just did this 12 hours ago. But no, he was just fabulous. And I think he really liked the atmosphere of the arena. It's big, but it's very manageable, and it has a really warm, inviting feel for the horses, I think. So he really, he did amazingly, and he seems to really enjoy himself, certainly.
Yeah, no, you and I were both up. I couldn't believe it. You rode late Friday, and then schooling was from 6 to 7:30, and you and I think, were the first ones in the ring at 6.
Exactly.
I was like, gosh, I don't know how she did that, because you couldn't have gotten that much sleep between those rides.
I think we left the barn at 11:30 on Friday night. We barely made it back to the hotel before they stopped serving dinner. And then we were there at 5:15 the next morning. He was like, I cannot get rid of you guys.
No, it was early, and it was nice. You and I actually were able to get into the stadium. Kind of, it was you and me for a bit, which was nice.
I know, we got a few minutes of quiet.
Yeah, it was good. But I was like, gosh, she's my hero. I knew you had been up really late the night before.
Well, I have to confess, I went back and took a long nap. So
I did too. I'm not gonna lie. When you get up that early and ride, and it's too early.
Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal.
But what were your rides like? What were you happy with the Grand Prix and that kind of thing?
So, we really went up there wanting to just have a super positive experience. We had just come off of Devon, which was amazing. He was phenomenal in the Grand Prix at Devon. And then the atmosphere on Saturday night, it's the freestyle night, and ended up moving. We were doing the special, but they moved it to Saturday night. And it was a lot of atmosphere, and it's dressage at Devon, and it's cold, and it's rainy, and there's umbrellas. So it was really important to us that we came to Kentucky and just had a really positive, successful experience, both for him and for I and for our confidence. And so, we went in, we didn't want to, take any chances, just wanted to have nice, clean, harmonious tests. And I feel like we really accomplished that on both nights. I think Sagacious has so many highlights, and that's what I love about that freestyle, is that it really, he gets to show off a bit with his, I think his changes are just extraordinary, and some of the more challenging piaffe dressage work, and his pirouettes are phenomenal. So you get to do 2 of them in each direction. So no, I was just absolutely thrilled. He stayed with me in each test, and he was just so steady and so happy to do his work. And I really loved, a lot of people commented on sort of the harmony and the lack of tension in our ride. And that's what's most important to me, is that he really enjoys his work and that people can see that he enjoys his work. I would never want to force him into anything. I always like for it to be his idea. And so I feel like we really accomplished that this week.
Talk to us a little bit about your freestyle music. How did you pick it? What is the theme? I think everybody's always interested in the freestyles most of all. So how did you come up with yours?
I have to confess, I didn't come up with the music. It actually came to me with Sagacious.
Cool.
It was designed by Marlene Whitaker, who's phenomenal. And so we've tweaked it a little bit, but it's the same music that Caroline used with him when she was at Aachen and finished second in the under 25 freestyle. So it's got good juju, certainly.
Yes.
But I think it really suits him. I love, you kind of get a little bit of everything. The Piaf Visage music is a little bit more upbeat, and then the canon music is really sort of more about the melody, and it's, I think it's really beautiful. And I don't know how they came up with it, but kudos to whoever's idea that was, and certainly to Marlene, and to, being able to put that into reality. And, we've tweaked the choreography a little bit, sort of played around with some things, but it's really, it's pretty true to its original form. And I think it's just a testament to what an amazing job she did when she choreographed it and, put the music to it and designed it.
Yeah, Marlene is awesome, for sure. So what's next? What are you guys doing next? My goodness, what's the next plan for this season?
So he will have a little bit of downtime as we kind of gear up for season. We had a busy couple months. We went to Devon and then to regionals in Georgia and then up to Kentucky. So we have a little bit of a down spell here through the holidays, and then we will be hitting the ground running as soon as season rolls around. We're looking to get in a couple of the first CDIs, and we're moving up into the Open Grand Prix now that we've unfortunately aged out of U25. So just looking to get as much. I know. I'm like, everyone's like, how does it feel? You're not a young rider. You're not a junior. You're not even a young Grand Prix rider. Now you're just, you're just out
welcome.
there. You're nothing anymore.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're nothing. Welcome. Join us.
Yeah, exactly. Begrudgingly. So we're excited. It'll be, I just love Global, and we're so spoiled to have, so many shows there and to have it right here in our backyard. So we're looking forward to, getting out there and just really getting some good mileage this season. And seeing how that goes.
I love it. So now last time you didn't have, but you have a job now. What are you doing?
So I'm also selling real estate here in Wellington to help. Who knew horses were expensive? And so I've been really fortunate to get together with Equestrian Sotheby's Realty here in Wellington and sort of parlay some of my, equestrian accomplishments into helping to sell real estate. And they've just been awesome. They're super supportive of, all of my successes and all of my adventures with the horses. And it's really nice, so much of Wellington is equestrian focused that it's a really nice sort of partnership there, and great networking on both ends, great for riding and great for the business as well. So no, it's been awesome. It's been a really nice addition to my day-to-day life.
Hey, can I jump in here, guys? Chase, there's somebody that wants to say hi to you.
Hi, Chase. This is Wendy Ying. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. They were just telling me about that coincidence. It's amazing.
So
I know. When they told me about it, I was like, oh my God, little Chase, but you're not little anymore.
I know. I was trying to remember. I think I was like 4, maybe 5 years old.
You were teeny tiny because it was like in 2000 and it was like in 2000.
I love it. Yeah. So Wendy, fill everybody in what's going on. So
sorry.
What's going on? What's going on? So welcome, Wendy Ying. She's the co-host of the Driving Radio Show and the Horse Radio Network. Wendy, welcome to the interview.
Thank you so much. Well, what happened was I was selling my horse farm in North Carolina after I finished vet school, and I was moving to Virginia. And Chase's mom, Pam, was my real estate agent. And she said, oh, my daughter really would love a pony. And I had this little pony that I adopted from vet school. and his name was Tony the Pony, and he was like 10 hands and this like super cute pinto pony, and they adopted him. And that was Chase's first pony. And you know what? I'll tell you what, that pony was like barely halter broke, so that kid can ride because.
I was telling them, I was like, my feet didn't even come past the flap of the saddle. Like,
I know, and he was bratty because I totally
He was bratty.
He was so naughty.
Yeah, so she didn't get a maid pony for her first pony. She got like this super bratty Shetland.
I think there was literally like a full week where I fell off like every day. And he would just stand there and kind of stare at me and be like, are you going to get up or what? What are we doing here?
Yeah, he didn't think he was for riding. He thought that you should be feeding him carrots.
Exactly.
I'm with Tony.
He was the best.
Well, we love it. Just shows how small the horse world is that Wendy from the Horse Radio Network is Chase's first seller of ponies. So thank you.
You deserve a lot of the credit for where we are
Wendy,
now.
Go for it. That's so cool.
Well,
Chase,
I'm so happy you survived, Chase. I'm so
exactly.
She's U.S. Grumpy and Style Champion, so it's pretty cool. I love it. Well, Chase, if our listeners are interested in hearing about some real estate or about your horses, how would they find you online?
Absolutely. Well, I'm on Facebook, of course, and also happy to receive any emails. My email is first name Chase, Hickok, and that's HICKOK @gmail.com, or certainly give me a call. That's 919-475-3483.
Hello, folks. Uncle Jimmy here, and welcome to the world of Uncle Jimmy brand products, where funny names mean serious products. Featuring Uncle Jimmy Squeezy Buns, the squeezably soft hand treat that your horse will love. The award-winning Uncle Jimmy's Hangin' Balls. Uncle Jimmy's Sugar-Free Ball. The incredible Licky Thing, also in sugar-free. The amazing Uncle Jimmy's Pecker-Wrecker, and the Big Licky. The infamous Uncle Jimmy Hangin' Ball was first designed by me for my own horses to help reduce the bad habits which come from stall boredom. It now can be found around the world. This nutritious, flavored, filled boredom buster will help keep your horses occupied and happy around the clock. Properly hung, it will last for weeks, provided you don't let your horse pin it, and Uncle Jimmy knows who you are. The ball comes in 4 flavors: apple, carrot, peppermint, molasses, and now sugar-free. Once again, welcome to the world of Uncle Jimmy's brand products, where funny names mean serious products, and satisfaction is 100% guaranteed.
This week's dressage training tip is brought to you by Total Saddle Fit, home of the shoulder relief girth at TotalSaddleFit.com.
Well, for this week's Total Saddle Fit Trainer Tip of the Week, we have quite a story from FEI trainer Erika-West Danque from Texas. Erika, welcome to the show.
Hi there.
Well,
how are y'all doing?
We're doing great, and you have had quite a journey. You're just getting back from the U.S. finals, and you were unfortunately the person that was in the arena when the lights went off during the U.S. finals. You have got to tell everybody the story. Like what? Thankfully, Jesus, thank you, God, I was out. Because I would have just jumped off. There's no way. I had finished my test, and I think you were 2 behind me. And my girl, you're like my hero. So tell all of our listeners what happened to you in the FEI Pre-St. George Open U.S. Finals during your test.
It was, I'm very thankful that I was riding a horse that I have a really, long-standing relationship with. And I mean, it's just such a wonderful mind. So we're in the Pre-St. George test, and it's going, pretty well. We were coming up on our line of 3 tempies, and it actually, it may have in some weird sense worked out in our favor, because at the start of the line, she was, having a little bit of potty business, so we were a bit slow on starting our changes. And then we were 2 changes in, like mid-flying change, going across the diagonal, and it just, went completely black. It's like instant midnight.
And
the
has
lights went out, everybody. The lights went out in the Alltech Stadium. There was zero
the lights, the power,
everything.
Black. And I couldn't see, but the mare I was on also has an issue in her eyes where like she literally is blind anytime the light changes, and it takes her, a good 30 seconds to a minute to adjust so she can see again. It's just, walking in and out of a barn is an issue. So she just, like, mid-flying change, just stopped dead. And she started shaking. She started going backwards, and I was just talking to her, whoa, patting her. And she came back to me right away, which is really a huge thing that she was so willing to look to my leadership in that spot. So I just kind of stood there petting her for a few seconds, and you can hear, the hum of everyone kind of going, oh my God, what did that happen?
Yeah. So what happened? Did the judges come? Like, what happened? Okay, so the lights go out, you stop, you're petting her. What happened? Like, what happened from that moment on?
So kind of our next step, I was still for probably 30 seconds or so, just petting her, and then she started to relax, and then I kind of tuned back into the atmosphere a little bit. And the judge at C called me over and said, just walk for a minute, take a breath. There's no hurry. Just we'll figure something out. Just give us a minute. Like, okay. So we ended up just walking in kind of a 20-meter circle down there by C and waiting. And then the backup tower finally, they started rebooting whatever they had of their computer system. And I'm not really sure how they were able to pull off the technical side of it. And then once they got all of their, I think it was their computers. I'm not sure if there's a hand process. It'd be interesting to ask them how they were able to pull that off so quickly. But it was probably, I don't know, maybe two or 3 minutes into it, they were able to get back going. And said, all right, well, now go ahead and start from your line of changes and go through the test. So we were on the reserve power, and Annie was with me. She was all the way back with me. I was just so proud of her, and picked up her line of changes, and we did our changes and finished the test. And then immediately upon the halt salute, the power came on to the speakers, and there's like this massive, like, booming crackle thing in the middle of our halt. My poor horse, she squirts forward. She didn't go too far, thankfully.
And you had like saluted and were petting her, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't really
have.
I
had just completed my salute, and that thing went off, and it's just, a horrific sound. Really, it's probably really good that it was me and on a horse that is so very sane and rational. That could have been a massive wreck if someone had been on a younger, more volatile horse in that situation.
Yeah. If I had been in there, people, it would have been game over. I would have just gotten off and walked out. I'd been like, I'm done. I can't handle this situation. Oh my God.
It was crazy.
It was really crazy. And everybody, the emergency lighting, it was pretty dark. Like you could see, but they ended up running the rest of the day with the emergency power, but it was just one more class. You were pretty far down in that. Were you the last rider in the precinct charge?
I think there were one or two others after me. I'm not certain, though.
Yeah.
You were fairly preoccupied with my horse at that
Getting
point.
out of there. Getting out of there. Yeah, it was really something else. It was really, I can't even explain it. And it was, God bless you. So what did you learn? What can you give our listeners for kind of the adversity in the show ring? Like, I don't even know how you prepare for said like what happens. So how do you what would you say? Like, what did you learn, or what would you tell people, like, dealing with adversity in a national finals? So guys, this is Big Daddy here, like, dealing with that. And how did you sort of collect yourself?
I think one of the biggest things is, for me, the absolute biggest thing is always prioritizing what's right for my horse. And in day-to-day training, I'm always trying to set up scenarios where it's not just teaching them, what to do and how to move, but actually how to think through a problem. It's the little things from, if you're hand grazing them and they go to step on a lead rope, the person who panics and says, "Oh my God, they're about to step on the lead rope," and goes running at them to pull the lead rope out from next to their foot. That teaches the horses to get scared when there's something they don't understand. And it's the little things where, I mean, if they go to step on the lead rope, just, quietly reach between their legs, let the rope move around their front leg a little bit while you're bringing it out, and just always showing them ways where something could be a little scary. It's the plastic bag that you have in your hand they spook at, and continuing to make the little crackling noises with it. And then when they first reach their nose towards it, you stop making it crackle. And you eventually teach them with consistency in how you present them with things that they don't understand. And the consistency that if they take the initiative to come towards you, to look at you, to stop for a moment when something's scary, that's the spot where you make it less scary. And you keep building that, because really, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. And that's one of the big things, is we can't prepare for everything that our horses are going to see in their lifetime, and the things that can keep us safe on them and help to keep them safe. Like with Annie, like she truly could not see when those lights go out, and she's scared to death. But in that moment, she knew that if she just waited and did what I told her to, that I was going to be able to make it better. And then, I mean, it's nice that the lights came back on and she could see. Well, they kind of came back on.
Kind of.
Better than midnight anyway. But it's always setting up those scenarios. It's with my horses, we do a lot of, I mean, I have 50 acres, so we'll take them out in the woods, and we have some trails that are really wide and clear and, very traditional dressage horse appropriate. And then you have some that, I mean, you need to get down and duck, and they walk through the branches, and the branches hit their legs. And we have tractors going all the time, and people up and down, and the kids that run down the barn aisle. I mean, you don't want to have them run down the barn aisle when there's, a new horse in cross ties for the first time. But if you have your older horse and you're there to control the situation, let them play fetch at the back part of the barn with the dog, so the horses see it. They know how to handle things. That, I mean, in life in general, it's horsemanship to me is an example of how I want to live my life. And it's how you can respond to the things that you can't control ends up defining what your experience is. And it's like with that class, I mean, I'm sure if, there'd been a perfect setup, we could have gotten a bigger score, but I couldn't be prouder of the horse and how she handled the situation. I don't think a lot of horses could have gotten through so stably.
No, seriously, you're my hero. I would have died.
Yeah, I think, you got to give yourself a little credit. And a whole lot of riders couldn't get through the same, and they should have, they might have, just excused themselves and said, oh, that was a disaster, I'm not even going to try. But you just said, okay, we get back to our line of our changes, and you get focused on the test again, and you just do it, because nothing's a better teacher than experience, and you try your best, and you don't give up on your horse, and your horse doesn't give up on you. So I think that's a testament to good training and an experienced rider who obviously has handled an issue here or there before and just can calmly go about your business. That's the best thing that anyone can be for their horse, is just a good leader and just a calm, quiet person, and just like you said, you may have not ridden the test that you wanted to ride, but you still rode a great test, and I'm sure the score was great, and you come out with an experience and something to live about and to talk about, sort of thing, right?
It is. I mean, I'm super proud of her, and I mean, I have a long-standing relationship with this horse, and it's, when push comes to shove, I know she's always going to be with me. And it's, I mean, if you don't give your horse a chance to experience those things and to learn what you can work through together, I mean, you're forever limiting you and your horse and your capabilities. I mean, it's not to say that you need to go cliff diving with a horse to build confidence, but a little hill every now and then doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Get out of your comfort zone once in a while, and you'll be fine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Erika, thank you so much for coming on. You literally just pulled in your driveway, and we're so kind to come on the show with us tonight. So thank you so much. How would our listeners find you online?
It's Erika-West Dressage, ErikaWest WESTDRESSAGE at yahoo.com is my email, or Erika-West Dressage is the website. And I'm located in Willis, Texas. And we have, I'm a bronze, silver, and gold medalist. We have 50 acres out here, and run a training program from beginners all the way up through the Grand Prix. And I've started a lot of young horses. I don't have a whole lot of openings for young horses anymore, but I really enjoy teaching and sharing whatever I can, from horsemanship to excelling and hopefully the national scene.
Love it. Well, thanks so much for coming on, and go get some sleep. You need it.
Will do. Y'all take care.
We're going to talk about the new girth that Justin has. And Phil and I have both tried this girth, and it's fantastic. So, Phil, take it away.
I've had it. It's called, for quite a bit, it's called the Stretch Tech Shoulder Relief Girth. It has all the same awesome qualities and features of the shoulder relief girth, only that this one has a triangular elastic center that that allows the horse's chest to expand, and it makes a softer contact with the horse's sternum. So it's taken all the qualities of that nice shoulder relief girth and enhanced them even further, and made an awesome girth to allow your horse to breathe a little better. It fits awesome. It allows the shoulder freedom that we've talked about, puts your saddle in the exact right place where you want it to stay. I like to test things out to see if they, stand up to the rigorous training schedule, work schedule of the horses that we have. And I've used it almost every day, and it's been a really great girth. I think it's even better than the shoulder relief girth, because it's got more aligners. You have options, what you want to be on against the horse. So I have the leather one, and what I've really been liking is the neoprene liner, which is easy. You can take it off, hose it down, or put it in the wash or whatever, and it's been extremely durable, and it fit forms to the horse.
Well, Phil, I really enjoyed every one of those interviews. I hope everyone did as well. It was quite a fun week here in Kentucky, and we were chatting, and we really will make this happen. But next year, we will definitely do a listener meetup. I met a wonderful listener, and I cannot remember her name, but she came over to my stall, and we chatted for a bit, and she said, really, I love the show, but we need to do a listener meetup next time. So
more meetups all the time.
Yeah, we're going to make that happen. We're going to make that.
And you're going to come up, and maybe we'll do a Canadian meetup at the Royal Fair, if you stop going to this Nationals thing.
Yeah, it's the same weekend.
We'll figure out something.
We'll figure it out. But I thought that was we will do that in 2017. That'll be our goal, is to have a few listener meetups. We'll be going to the World Cup, Philip and I, and we'll definitely do the World Cup and the U.S. National Finals, and maybe a couple in between. But that was an awesome suggestion. And as always, we love Facebook and email shout outs, or anything that you love, or something that we can improve on the show. We always love to hear it from you guys. So you can find our show notes and links to today's guests on our website, dressageradio.com. Like us on Facebook, just search Dressage Radio Show. Follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio. My website is maplecrestfarmky.com, and my email is reese@horseradionetwork.com.
I wanted to mention, too, the Western Dressage Gang will be here next week for Thanksgiving week, so they will be here. And then the next time you'll hear Reese and Philip is on Radiothon Day.
Well, that's pretty exciting. We're really looking forward to it. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week for allowing us to put on a great show. And don't forget to check out all the other shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Everybody, keep your heels down and your shoulders back, and we will talk to you at noon on Cyber Monday for Horse Radio Network Radiothon.